It is what it is. We back. It's another day, another episode, and I feel good about it because I am joined by one of one, the lady, Ms. Ray Hart.
Hello.
Welcome,
Hello,
welcome.
hello. It's been a long time.
I was gonna say it's been a
Again,
minute. It's been a minute.
it's been a
I,
minute.
I'm so blessed. I'm so fortunate. I'm so thankful and grateful. But I think that we have a real serious topic in front of us. We've got a couple of stories that I've reserved this day to discuss with this very special guest. We're going to start in the Midwest, and then we're going to head down to Texas. Um, we might make a couple stops along the way, but I want to talk about the local story. I want to talk about the police officer. Um, I'll connect you guys if you're watching online to this story that we're discussing. It's actually coming out of Casey Mo. Seems to be a lot of silliness out that way, respectfully or disrespectfully, like it or not. But here we go. It was a deadly DWI crash. Somehow, the officer involved avoids jail time, and the wave and implications, they're pretty far reaching. As far as this story today, let's see here.
I mean, the town has definitely been busy.
I
um,
mean, set the stage, because I think that this is a unique story, and I think that it's a very personal story. I think anybody that is discovering this story or first connecting to this story, they're gonna be disturbed. They're gonna be upset. They're gonna be disappointed. There's elements of justice, simply put, we're looking for. This is an article out of the Kansas City Star written by Kate Linderman. It was published February 7th of 2025. A former sheriff's deputy that pleaded guilty to driving while intoxicated avoided a prison sentence for the crash that actually killed his wife in 2023. Officials said that a screen grab of Savannah McCreary's obituary, or where we got this picture from, but a former sheriff's deputy accused of causing a crash that killed his wife in 23 will avoid time in prison, is what they're releasing. Colby McCreary was driving near Festus, that's outside of St. Louis, on April 30th of 23 when he crashes into a small rock bluff, throwing him and his 28-year-old wife, Savannah McCreary, from the car. Jefferson County Prosecutor's Office said in a January 5th news release. Let's begin with that. What do you think? It was an intentional accident?
yes, I do. Yeah, I do. I think it was intentional. Um, it's it's another episode of Missouri politics. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
The fact that because you wear the blue badge and the blue uniform, um, you can do whatever you want to, basically. And you have a understanding brotherhood that will back you as well.
Funny business is what that is.
Um, it caused complications because if you're willing to do this to your own wife, right? I mean, you're not
Young wife,
smart to.
young wife. I mean, this guy's young too. But the problem for me, and just starting to scratch the surface of this story is what you talk about: the brotherhood, the backing up, that blue that really rules, especially in a place like that. That's where my mind goes. These are young people, and the circumstances, I hope, don't lead me to believing that this person killed what should have been the closest person to him, the person that he should have been laying down his life for outside of the citizens that he was protecting. It's disturbing.
Um, like I don't know if there was drugs involved. I don't know if it was, maybe like, I really don't know. However, I would be a little bit concerned to know that this is taking place in our own backyard and your wife the whole life. um and who's covering it up and what took so long for it to actually for it to be put in public. Like, I mean, like, your superiors had to have known, like, what was the proper channels to.
All right, I don't know if you're reading this text. I don't know if you see this text, but a crash reconstruction report also found that for an unknown reason, the steering wheel abruptly turned. And while the car began to slow, it was not possible for the driver to regain control of the vehicle before it impacted the bluff. And then Mercury's toxicology report came back double the legal limit. Came back 0.17, and in your state it's 0.08. That's that's a lot. That's a lot.
Absolutely,
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah. So, sir, you was you was reckless. You could have hurt. I mean, it's unfortunate, to his significant other, but you could have took out a lot more people than you did.
I mean, it continues and says that the charges were downgraded in January of this year as they could not prove a felony offense beyond a reasonable doubt. Um, some of Savannah's family members actually disagreed with the new charge. And I
I
mean,
mean, like, um, reckless endangerment, um, with vehicular homicide. I mean,
attempted vehicular homicide, nothing else.
yeah, attempted, right?
Because that is a weapon
Because
that
you're
is
over
very,
the you're over the drinking limit. Like,
yeah. I'm just trying to zoom in on the wife. She wasn't unattractive really. I
she was
mean,
very beautiful
she was she was all right. Not that that's the basis of life or death. I'm just saying that a man with a young
with
wife,
so much
young
power.
family, and I want to see this guy because now I'm seeking a little bit. I think I'm in between. So let's see what we have on YouTube. Let's just see what there is.
Well, my thing is that just because you take the uniform and badge off when you clock out, does that mean you're a civilian, or does that still mean that you're a man of the law, right? So you knew that when you went to whatever bar, or you knew wherever however many drinks, you knew that it was you was over and beyond.
You
So
know
that's
you were putting
negligence.
everybody in
That was a
danger.
choice that you chose to do. You chose to put my life, well, and when I say my life, I'm speaking of her, put her life and yourself in jeopardy. You don't wasted your whole career. How long has this man been on the police force? I don't even think that that matters, but I mean, you definitely won't be having no career now.
I don't know. Huh. I don't know. I'm trending on YouTube. McCreary, huh? DWI.
And I'm sure this is not this is not the first time. I mean, I'm sure that he's been drinking and driving, allegedly for a while.
I'm not seeing a lot of traction on YouTube, but I am ready to share the floor with you about Austin Metcalf because this is a really sad story. Um, and I might introduce that one
Yeah,
just out of
both lives. You know, I'm just actually just now hearing about it. So when I got to actually looking into the case, like 17 years old, these are kids. These are, you know,
babies.
it's lost on both sides, And my condolences to the Metcalfs for their loss, but um respectfully, what's the other side? Like, they said that the man was telling him to get out of the tent, like, where they was huddling, that it was raining. So you're causing a disturbance. I mean, like, what was Carmelo's breaking point to um, escalate it and take it there?
I really don't know. I I've got a lot of post and repost, and I've shared everybody's thoughts and opinions, and I respect everyone's thoughts and opinions, but they are all over the place. It is an extremity, the spectrum. You hear that. I'm sorry. Let me back up one bit and just lay out what happened. Carmelo Anthony, Austin Metcalf, their fates have become intertwined. These two young men crossed paths at a track and field meet in Texas. Um, Two high school aged boys somehow found themselves in a conflict where either Carmelo Anthony attacked this young man and killed him in in a public place while he was engaged at a track meet is the story that I have heard or and had heard at first. Austin Metcalf was stabbed in the chest and died in his twin brother's arms. The way that this thing is being shared with us is enough to make you motion sick because, like I said, the only facts that I know are that a young man died, a young man stabbed a young man to death, and a twin witnessed violence at a level to where he will no longer have his twin sibling. They made Carmelo Anthony seem like a monster on one extreme, on one end, like he just came out of nowhere to attack this kid. And then they make Austin Metcalf seem like a monster on the extreme and another end, and his brother for bullying this Carmelo Anthony. I wasn't there. We weren't there. We don't know. But it is so divisive for our country where we are right now if we don't uphold justice, if we don't uphold standards, if we don't rely on the truth, and if we as a national community don't embrace our children and lead them better than we have to this point, we are all doomed to fail. We have to discipline our children before they discipline each other.
Yeah, and most definitely. I think that it's to the point where this generation doesn't really too much know. how to communicate. Like it's,
I'm
there's
presuming that.
everything, like you said, we really don't know what happened or anything like that. And they did
Mhm.
say that Carmelo Anthony was being bullied.
There was a possibility that that was it. There was also a possibility that Carmelo Anthony just killed this kid. But what I believe, like I said, what I'm assuming is that these are two teenagers that couldn't resolve their conflict. There were no adults there, and there was no reference for life. I don't
So then
understand how a
that's
confrontation can escalate to violence of that level at that age that quickly in that environment. The kids were at a track meet. They didn't think of there wasn't even a thought of fighting. Like a fight is not encouraged, but I think that's a little bit more understood, right? I think that we could
right.
relate to
Like he
that and
just
live
he
from
just
that.
went to
How? That's my question. How? How does a kid feel inclined to taking lethal force so quickly? What seems like so quickly?
I'm gonna say, I mean, because from what I read, they was saying, Austin Metcalf, he was, a stud, you know what I'm saying? And he just, was the athletic of the,
Him and his
very
twin brother,
athletic,
6 foot,
very
200 plus
popular.
pounds. Carmelo Anthony, I think that kid weighs what, 150 pounds, maybe?
And he was a linebacker. So,
Oh, okay, maybe it was big.
yeah, he was a linebacker, is what it said.
Okay.
So, either way it goes, the witnesses said allegedly that you tried to put him out of the tent and put him in a ring. So, respectfully, you never know how much, speaking if it was, the situation for Carmelo Anthony, you never know what was the limit
Mm,
to like this is it. Like if he say something to me today, like, you know, this
right.
is this
I
is a
don't think they went to the
recurrent
same
behavior.
school.
So where was the mediation? Like, I mean, was there any mediation? Because I'm more than sure that this was not the first, altercation.
I don't think
I'm
they went to
sure.
the same school though. These kids didn't know each other. That's why it's so scary, disturbing, upsetting. They weren't classmates. They weren't teammates. They were complete strangers.
Okay, okay. See, I'm thinking like we're
Like
sharing
he's
seventh
bullying him on
hour.
the team and they knew each other from the same town. I don't think that's the case. I forget what school specifically they said Carmelo Anthony was from. I believe he's from a different school, but Austin Metcalf and his twin brother were from a Frisco, Texas school. Is the information I believe up to this point. Like I said, those two kids, they were supposed to be these two 6 foot, 200 pound Christian athletic. The media is calling them handsome and great and all this beautiful stuff. And
Studs
then
and
Melo,
things like that. But
right, right.
I actually did. I seen nothing about
Mhm.
for Carmelo Anthony. I seen um nobody like his dad didn't have anything to
Mm.
say, but nobody is speaking out as far as character of Carmelo
They're
Anthony.
saying he said he did it. I mean, and that's what I don't
Yeah,
like is that
he
there's a
said
lot
they
of
found the.
reports. Hmm?
Mm. So when you think about it, right? I have a 17-year-old,
Hmm.
and never in a million years am I thinking when my child is going to their track meet, um,
Right.
that
Anything,
that is
anything could
like you're
happen.
not ever thinking that. You're thinking you're coming home with awards, or whether you win or lose, or you're not.
It just makes me sad. It breaks my heart because there were no leaders present. I'm talking about adults. I'm talking about kids. I'm talking about the police. I'm talking about everyone. Why are we leaving our young people in situations they can't handle like this? And how has this become a situation that a young person couldn't handle? That is reprehensible for a society to have norms, to have this on the regular, to have this almost as an expectation, and then we paint it, we politicize it, and we put these two camps together, and we can all see it. I hate to admit it, but they're making Carmelo Anthony look like a predator, and I'm not on anyone's side. I don't know what happened, but
Yeah,
all
I'm
these
not on
things are
anybody's side.
possible.
I do have questions.
Mm.
Just no. I didn't see anything in a defense for him.
At
I
all.
didn't see not a teacher, not a pastor. I don't see nobody standing behind and this
Where's the
young gentleman,
coach?
he needs somebody to stand behind him because whether it was just crime of like in the moment, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
still he's by himself. You know what I'm saying? Like
Seriously,
you
where's the coach? They played a game like he had a track coach because he was running a track competition. I mean, if he knew that this kid was a problem, that guy would have been on the news for losing his job, right? That's my logical leap. But why don't we see the same opportunity for him to speak positively about the young man, to wish justice for him as he is due process if he committed a crime? But we don't have that discussion. I think it's eerie as well.
um I mean, they jumped out on it at first, and basically, I will probably say his attorneys are being quiet until they get the full report before they speak, before, say nothing. But even if so, nobody from that school could have been like, hey, Carmelo Anthony, he's a good kid too. You know what I'm saying? Or,
Yeah.
he goes to his class, colleges was looking at him too, like
It's just a sad
just
loss
the
of
only
life.
thing that they, was saying basically was that allegedly he was not where he was supposed to be team wise, and that Mr. Mr. Austin tried to push him out. So allegedly, let's say that even that was the play, right? So that means that you have physically assaulted me to put me out of this so-called tent that everybody is standing in because it's raining. So why would the adults, water boy, just hey, calm out it like nobody broke it up, everybody stood and watched. It before it went from 0 to 100, it had to heat up 0, 1, 2. So the moment that you know um, voices is being raised, like where's the field managers? Where it's a lag. Like I don't think that the track meet was that busy that nobody as an adult could have stopped, resolved it. Hey, you go to that corner. Just nobody did nothing.
There was no love. There was no love. I mean, and like I
Hello.
said, I'm conundrified because I wasn't there and I read reports from every direction. Some say that Carmelo was he confronted him for the guys confronted him for doing something. They asked him to get up out of the seat. I've heard they've asked him to leave a tent. I heard that the one brother wasn't there at all. It was just Austin and Carmelo that got into it, and then somehow the brother got there. And there's so much information that's lagging. I really think that we're in for information that we're not prepared for yet, and I just don't know what that is. But in any event,
Well, don't
I
just
am
tell half the story, tell the whole story.
mm,
You know, definitely it's some explaining to do. But I didn't know. I thought they actually went to the same school, but it's a meet, so that
right.
means that it was more than just. coaches on the field. That's what I'm saying. It was more than just
Yeah. We're gonna get information. It's gonna come in, but there's a bias, and that's what I want to address because you and I both see how Carmelo's situation is different, whether he did it or not. There's no, it's radio silent. So I'm preparing myself in any event. I am not for any child losing their life. I think that is the problem, and I want to talk about that as well because the onus is on the parents. As parents, is we have to give our children a value for life.
yeah.
Alexa,
I think
stop.
that it's very important that we raise our kids to know how to handle situations and altercations without force. Like, you know what I'm saying, without violence. Like, that should be the last thing to be.
Basic conflict resolution. Your 17-year-old probably has conflict resolution skills. Yep.
You know, my daughter was being bullied. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
So coming from that, where you can tell, your daughter, hey, I would do this or I would do that, but you're not in her shoes every day, bumping up to these, same girls
true.
in the lunchroom but I took the proper procedure. Let's do, mediation. It's steps to this before the whistle blows. Um,
Mm.
it's I don't know, and then again, it's just this generation is just straight violent. Like they are straight. Everything is up and stuck.
I want you to see this clip from Jason Whitlock as you talk about the generation. You remember him from KC? He used to be
Okay,
for the
I'm fit to
Star back
say
in the day.
what is that? Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He was with the Star. I think technically we was co-workers at one point. That brother left when I was just getting begun with them. But let me go ahead and get this clip because it's interesting.
We shoot and kill each other at the drop of a hat. And it's because we have the wrong mentality. We're not offering anybody grace and mercy, not even ourselves. And so I just want to play one more example of this victimhood mentality that no matter what I do, I can justify because I'm a victim. Remember a week ago or 2 weeks ago, the video went viral of the young black girl at the high school track meet that's getting beat in a relay race, and she rises up and clubs the other girl in the head, cracks her skull, gives her a concussion, and then
I didn't see that either.
the girl that did the clubbing did a press conference with her family and friends surrounding her. And you know what? She's the real victim. She lost control of her emotions and whacked another girl over the head. What you just saw here on that track tape with the little girl, this is what goes on in black communities, black neighborhoods across America. Get frustrated. You're losing. Hey, just lose control and club someone over the head or pull out your gun and shoot them or get in a fight and stab them or beat them up. And then hold a press conference where you cry and claim victimhood. Let's play Sot 11.
I'm just a person by myself. Nobody's going to believe me because I can admit from the video it does look purposeful, but I know my intentions and I would never
Lack of
hit somebody
accountability.
on purpose.
Yes, you would. We just watched you do it on film. You don't have any control of your emotions. And your parents, rather than putting you on a platform to make yourself the victim so you can shed tears, should have put you on detention and been inside that house and said, baby girl, you owe that girl an apology and everybody on their team an apology. And until I'm done being mad at you for your lack of self-control, we don't want to hear a word from you. Not a word, not a word of, I don't even, but that's not what we do. We can justify any and everything because we've placed ourselves on a platform that we are God. We are the chosen people.
Hmm.
We're above sin. I would never do that. I'm above sin. Don't you know how perfect I am? Nothing I do matters. So, the radicalization of Black people has to be addressed. The mentality that we're always a victim or that we're a victim at all has to be addressed. The culture that trains Black people to think being high, wearing your pants hanging off your rear end, tatting yourself up like a criminal, and meeting anything you define as disrespect with force, violence, and aggressiveness has to be addressed. We have to reject this culture, every aspect of it.
I mean, I agree with some of the things he said, and I disagree with the other half.
For
Now,
sure.
if you remember way back in the 90s, what was her name? Tanya Harding, the
I sure do.
Caucasian ice skater.
I
That
sure do.
okay, um, and Tanya Harding, her numbers was up. She was just as good as a skater, but because of her own insecurities, she decided to, set up that, where you take out your opponent, whatever. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying?
Mhm. She kneecapped her.
Yeah, I think she hit her with a club or something like that,
She
or
she actually, her boyfriend had a guy, and they did that. They plotted on her. All those people served jail time and actually had to pay significant retribution for that. Yep, they kneecapped her. Nancy Kerrigan. She
Nancy
got
Kerrigan. And I
silver.
was over here like, what was her name? Nancy Kerrigan. Yeah.
She got silver.
So, yeah.
Tanya could have and would have won the gold. She was highly accomplished. She was a formidable opponent, but like you said, she had some insecurities.
So, a little, so her, I'm just saying, like, one would like think like when it comes down to sports, competition is important. Um,
Mhm.
but how far do you take your competition? So
Depends
instead
on the competitor
of,
you are.
the young lady who, hit the other girl, instead of putting it on that knee, you decided, oh, she's gonna beat me. I'ma just. I didn't see no accountability. I didn't see no sportsman conduct. You know, I wouldn't even want you on my team. You're a liability.
Unfortunately,
If
yeah.
you'll do that, then what else will you do? See, the thing about, and I say this a lot. When it comes down to like sportsman conduct, I don't think that it is what it once was. Like I feel like
Mhm.
a lot of the younger generation just want to start off at the top. Um,
Right.
I just I would have been like, cool, like I'm going up against you on your mark.
They're
That's
outsmarting
it.
themselves. They're outsmarting themselves though with that mentality. I mean, I'm a coach and I see it all the time. They don't know how to compete anymore because they don't want to lose. They have Floyd Mayweather in their ear. They think that they can become the greatest unblemished. And I think maybe we're seeing in this generation that Michael Jordan, that Floyd Mayweather, that never touched, unfazed, nothing but wins, not a reality. And they
They
don't
were
recover from losing. They don't know how to compete, amongst other things.
Yeah, because now they have it to where, hey, if you lose, you still win.
Mm-hmm.
They have that too. So
Mm-hmm.
it's the how do you say it? How do you like
Participation trophy.
if I'm the winner, I'm the winner. But if you lose, you know what I'm saying, you still get to come over here. So then I think that some
Participation trophy.
athletics struggle with it's not gonna matter anyways. I mean, because even if I lose, I still win or
But that's it. That's what a participation trophy is. They don't lose. There's no losing. And Muhammad Ali lost, greatest champion in the history of champions. Mike Tyson lost, the greatest champion of all champions. It's that they don't know how to get up when they're knocked down. They think that they can compete without ever falling to the canvas. And when it happens, they stop competing. They do something different. They know how to undermine, or let's even say outsmart, outwit, outthink, because they can't outplay. They'll figure a way to move the goalposts, to change the rules. And I think Jason Woodlock made a lot of really, really good points, because our focus shouldn't be on race. We shouldn't be lost in who done it. We should be focused on our morality in the center and consistently discover that, because no child should murder another. That's where my heart's broken. Because if Austin Metcalf
murder physically
would have killed
hurt.
Carmelo Anthony, I would be just as hurt as I am now. It's almost as if I'm hurting worse at the thought that maybe Carmelo made a mistake. I've yet to confirm that. I'm not looking for that to be it, but God be with us. God be with our children. And as parents, as leaders, teachers, and elders in our community, let's advise our kids with life. Let's guide them for life. That's all I got. I definitely want anybody that keeps up with this show to visit themodernblackman.com to check us out on social media. 25 is it's a fun one. Expecting a lot of different things, but Ms. Ray, do you have anything that you want to promote or anything that you want to share with our audience before we sign off?
You know, no, I ain't promoting anything. I'm still working, and kids is getting big now.
Yeah.
Two kids in college, one more on the way. Um,
What? Wait a minute.
absolutely. Yeah,
What?
yeah,
Congratulations.
Greg's second year in college. And my 17-year-old, my daughter Raylene, is on the National Honor Society, but she is so about her books. She wants to go to a black college,
That's right.
and I just love it. She wants to, save the world. She can graduate
She will.
this year. She can graduate early,
Mm.
but be a kid. Enjoy. Like don't rush too soon. You know what I'm saying?
You have
Because
plenty of time to work.
yeah, you got plenty of time. Plenty of time. And then you're gonna be going back to I wish I was in seventh hour.
And that's how it goes
Absolutely.
that quickly.
Yeah, they growing up. Just remember when I did my first podcast with you, I do believe Greg started his freshman.
I was gonna say he was still in high school.
Yeah, he was a freshman.
That's crazy. And now he's in the second year of big school, college.
And yeah. So
God
I'm
is
very
good.
proud. Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm getting
That's
I'm
tough.
I'm I'm getting up there, man.
No, that's a
24.
blessing. That's why we need that
20,
wisdom.
absolutely. And everybody is doing their own thing. My daughter, my oldest, Cam, she's on her way back right now from Guatemala. She's getting her bachelor's in special education.
Oh
Um,
yeah, that's awesome.
yeah,
And you thriving. I mean, you healthy, shining, glowing.
and it came a long way. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what's
and it
up.
came a long way, and still going.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's still growing. It's not over. It is not over.
Now the youngest one, I asked him what he wanted to be the other day, and he was like, I'm just chilling right now. I ain't
Right.
got nothing to for sure. Captain American, like he ain't, you know, um, he ain't really too big on the serious things. He still want to go out, ride bikes, play. You know what I'm saying? Things like that.
Cool.
So I enjoy the kid while I still have him. Because when I
Exactly.
look up, he gonna be Greg's age. So yeah,
Well, I love that update, and I hope that you can make time for me again. I know next weekend, same time, we should probably try to do it again.
man, for sure, absolutely. And hopefully we'll have some more content on the Austin and Carmelo situation. I'm
Well,
definitely
yeah,
gonna be plugging my ear to that just because it's pinged me now. I'm like, what's going on?
it's
So
it's, it's constant right now. Social media is going nuts. You hear Jason Whitlock every day. That was April 3rd. So I mean, he's throwing stories out there. Right when I was talking to you earlier, he was probably covering himself because we don't know. There's so many
right,
missing pieces. This one's gonna be it's going to be real interesting. I just hope that we get justice, and I really hope that we get the healing that our children deserve.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Till the next one. Peace.
So same time next week, then.
Same time next week.
All
Peace.
right, it's been a pleasure. In a
It's been a
minute.
blessing.